Hello YouTube family, this is Rev from my Rev It Up Mustang Fanatic Productions, and you know what time it is. Rev it up.
Is brilliant, my love is pure. I saw an angel, of that I'm sure. She smiled at me on the subway. She was with another man. I won't sleep on that, 'cause I've got a plan. You're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, it's true. I saw your face in a crowded place, and I don't know what to.
Okay YouTube family friends, this is Rev with Rev It Up Mustang Fanatic Productions. Today is July 7th, 2020, year of our Lord. And God knows how many days into this pandemic, but we're not on lockdown anymore. But there's no shows or car shows or cruise-ins going on because we can't have large crowds. But anyway, I've been busy and I got a project here. This is a 03 Mercedes Benz C230 compressor. It's a 1.8 liter supercharged engine, okay, and it's been sitting for a year. So if you look at the brakes, the rotors are rusted, the calipers are rusted, same thing all the way around. The oil's been changed already, the coolant's been changed, and I got Innovea 5160 fix assist scan tool, and I put it in the code reader, and I have a misfire cylinder 1, misfire on cylinder 3. The spark plugs has been changed and the light went off, but then it came back on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the coils. I'm going to take coil 4 and put it in 3 and coil 1 and 2, but this is the cover, and that just pops right off, okay? And this is the cover for the battery. It just goes in there, and these clips just clips right on. Anytime you're working with electronics on any vehicle, you want to disconnect the negative battery, and I'm going to have to find out which one on it. I can't hardly see, but okay, just got the ground on it. So this is the negative battery. I'm going to disconnect the negative battery cable, and then this is number 1 coil. In an inline 4-6, normally the first coil close to you is number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So to check and see if the coil is bad, I'm going to take number 1 put it in two, put two in one, put 3 and 4 and 4 and 3, and connect the coils back together. And they're going to run my scan tool, and if I got coils signals bad in 2 and 4, then I know it is the coils, and I can go buy coils and put the coils in. But if it's not bad coils, then of course it could be a cylinder head gasket, could be a valve cover leak. I'm hoping it's the coil, so it's nothing major, but this thing has 206,000 miles on it. So to get the coils loose, all we do is just unplug it from here, and then there's a screw there and a screw there. So I'm going to unscrew those, swap them out, start it up, and I'll do the scan tool and we'll see what happens. Okay, YouTube family fans, this is Rev It Up Mustang Fanatic Productions. Behind me, Electric Biff, the 99 Pro Street SVT Cobra. And again, nothing going on because of COVID-19. So yesterday was the 6th, and we had a 03 Mercedes Benz C230 compressor, 1.8 liter 4-cylinder supercharged Mercedes, and we had a misfire code in cylinder 1 and cylinder 3, and there's a thermostat temperature control lower than thermostat suggests, and we had SRS light and vehicle speed sensor light on it, and a seatbelt code. So my main thing was to get the threat out of the way. Sorry I didn't get a chance to film it. I got so involved and detailed in this vehicle that when I took out, my intentions was to just take out the number 1 plug and see what it looked like, and the number 3 plug, see what it looked like. And once I got those out, that number 1 plug had water on it. It was really wet, and it was rusted, really. And the number 4 spark plug, I had trouble getting that out of the spark plug hole there. I had to twist nice and slow because you don't want to break the top of that spark plug off. You have a hard time getting that plug out of there. So I managed to get the plugs out, and because plugs 1 and 3 were so horrible, I took 2 and 4 coils off and took the plugs out of each one of those respective places. And cylinder 1 had some water in there. Cylinder 2 looked pretty good. Cylinder 3 had just a little bit of oil in there, and cylinder 4 was dry. It looked pretty good. The number 1 coil had sludge on it, had brownish reddish sludge on it, and the coils were stuck down in on the spark plug boot. So a little lithium grease when you're installing those will help prevent that from seizing and getting stuck, and they'll slide right off. And also the spark plugs, please put a little bit of never seize on the spark plug threads, and when you screw them down in that hole, you won't have a problem pulling them out next time, because those seem to be welded in there. But nevertheless, what we did, I got some sandpaper and I cleaned all the plugs off, got a wire brush, cleaned the threads, and I re-gapped them. And then I just kind of cleaned the coils up, and I reversed the coils since I had the problem in the number 1 and the number 3 coils. You can arrange the coils in any order you want. You can put the spark plugs back in any order you want, long as you, when you take them out, you clean them and you gap them. Make sure they gap the same. So that number 1 plug was really closed, and this is gapped at 0.0335 thousandths of an inch. So That one was around 20, and the rest of them were pretty close to 35 thousandths. I think a couple were at 32. So I got them all at 35 thousandths of an inch, and I took the number 1 coil, put it in the 2 spot, number 2 coil, put it in the 1 spot, put the number 3 coil in the 4 spot, and number 4 coil in the 3 spot. And so I plugged in my Innovate scan fix assist tool, and I cleared the codes out and refired the engine, and she didn't skip or anything, so I let it idle for a while, revved it up, and then I put it in diagnostic drive mode, and you can monitor the oil pressure, you can monitor the temperature, the transmission temperature, oil pressure temperature, or oil pressure, and then how much oil is in the car. And you can monitor so many things while driving it. And then you do it driving it at I think it was 20 miles an hour for 10 seconds, then 30 miles an hour for about 40 seconds, then you pull over. And this is the misfire diagnostic run that I ran it in. And then you pull over for 40 seconds, and then I switch to the maintenance diagnostic, and actually the fuel diagnostics, and that'll tell if you have a fuel problem with a spark plug or with an injector or your fuel rail or a fuel filter, anything to do with the fuel system. Even oxygen sensors, if it's running rich on bank 1, bank 2, whether it's going to be the forward oxygen sensor, because the lower or rear oxygen sensor will not affect the way the car runs. Only the upper oxygen sensors affect the engine. So we did that same diagnostic, run it, we drove at 10 miles an hour for 20 seconds, we drove at 25 miles an hour or 30 miles an hour for 40 seconds, pulled over for 40 seconds, and we read it, nothing. And so then we took it for a good drive, and she drives good, no skipping, no codes came back on. But this car sat for a year, so I heard a boom, 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 boom knocking noise in the left front. So I wobbled the car home and I jacked it up. Come to find out, on the inside of the driver's front tire, there's a big bubble behind the tire, and it hits the shock. And so I have to take that tire off and put the spare tire on, and then go and get another tire put on. But let me show you what we're working with here. So this is a Mercedes C230 compressor. Beautiful car. And I showed you before, this is why one of the sensors is on right here. If you can see that wire right there, well, that's your wear brake, your brake and rotor wear sensor. So that wire is loose, so we're going to have part of the SRS ABS system come on, and vehicle speed sensor come on. Okay, and you can see the rotors, they're scarred up, so we're going to need new brakes and rotors on this thing. There's the rear. And like I said, the car's been sitting for a year, and the other side is the same, trust me. But that's what you got here. So let me let you take a peek on the inside of here. So this is what the inside of an 03 Mercedes 230 compressor look like. There's your center console, stereo system, shifter. There's your console there. There's the rear seats. It does have a sunroof. The sunroof is working and everything. So we'll start it up. It's got 204,000 miles and she still runs like a champ now. And that's her started up. And so right there, no codes, but you see the SRS light right there. That SRS light is the safety restraint sensor. The seat belt on the driver's side does not click, and so that's what that is on for. So that's it. The codes are gone. It sounds good. You know, there's no skipping in it. There's some other things on here that I have to work with. So I'm pulling it inside the garage right now. I'm making sure nothing's down on the floor that I'm gonna hit. So I can change that right front, the left front tire, just in case it rains. I'll be inside the garage. So let's shut her back down. Okay, you'll see the two malfunctions. Those two malfunctions, that's the SRS light and the vehicle speed sensor, because the brake is not. That brake sensor is disconnected. When I get new brakes and rotors, then we'll connect those sensors back and those lights will come off. So far, so good. So far so good. Sounds good, looks good, running good. So we're gonna, like I said, get that passenger tire changed and the right front driver's side tire change. Put the little donut tire on it, and there's some rims and tires that I was looking at for the customer. They wanted me to match out the bolt holes and see if they fit, and I will put that on. But I'm gonna have this car for a while. We're gonna be trying to restore it almost to its luxurious, beautiful car that it's supposed to be. We're gonna even clean up the headlight lenses to get them nice and clean. And like I said, we get new rotors and brakes, front and rear. We're going to clean up the inner sides of the rim. We're going to sand those down pretty good, get them smooth. We're going to put 2 coats of what do you call that stuff? 2 coats of primer on it, and let that dry. Then we're going to get 2 coats of gloss black, and then we're going to put 2 coats of clear coat on it. And we're going to have the inside of the rim gloss black, and the outside is going to be chrome. We're going to clean that chrome up as best we can. If not, get those other rims and tires that the customer wanted, and we'll have this thing back in shape in no time. We're going to get all the codes and malfunctions fixed on it, and we'll take it from there. But I'm going to have this for a while, because I told her before we do the brakes and rotors, I want to make sure that check engine light for the misfire cylinder number 1 doesn't come back. That's the cylinder that had me very worried. But it's been sitting over a year, so moisture could have just gotten in there and stayed in there from over the years. But as of now, no misfire in it. And so we're going to get to it and do all the stuff that we need to do today. All right, talk to you guys later. God bless.